Daniel Jeremiah drops in with his second mock draft of the offseason. Let's see who he has the Jets taken with their 2 first-round picks. Jets! Welcome in, guys. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. All right, we are talking another mock draft. I did the Mel Kiper 2.0 just before, so this one is the Daniel Jeremiah mock 2.0. Really important to note, Daniel Jeremiah and Joe Douglas were both scouts in Baltimore at the same time. That's why we kind of put a little more stock into some of the Daniel Jeremiah stuff than maybe some of the other mock drafts out there. And last year, in his mock 1.0, he had the Jets taking Mekhi Becton. Wound up being correct. So this time around, his 1.0, he had the Jets taking Zach Wilson at 2, and he had Travis Etienne at 23. So let's take a look at who he has the Jets selecting now with these 2 first-round picks. At number 2, it doesn't change. It stays as Zach Wilson, the quarterback from BYU. He's listed at like 6'3", 220. I have to imagine he's going to be a little bit smaller than that. He doesn't quite look as big as like Fields does, and I think Fields is right around those same metrics. He might be like 10 pounds heavier. But quarterback, it's going to be a pretty interesting draft. I think it's going to focus entirely around the quarterback. Is it going to be a trade for Deshaun Watson? Is it going to be drafting a quarterback at number 2 like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields? Or is it going to be rolling with Sam Darnold and taking a different player or trading down? So a lot of interesting things that could happen here. I think Zach Wilson is going to be the pick. I think it makes a lot of sense for the New York Jets. I do think that Joe Douglas would like to find his own quarterback. Remember, he did not draft Sam Darnold. And then Robert Saleh coming in, obviously did not draft Sam Darnold. I think linking all these guys up, moving in one direction, is probably a wise move. That's not to say that Douglas didn't come in here initially to be the GM for Sam Darnold, and it's not to say that Robert Saleh doesn't like Sam Darnold at all, but I do think that the value of the rookie contract, resetting the clock, and just kind of having everyone going in the same direction is pretty wise. The other thing we have to look at is, for the guys that want Sam Darnold, we went through this in 2017. We decided to pass on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson in favor of Jamal Adams because we had a quarterback that was sitting on the bench that we hadn't seen yet in Christian Hackenberg, and we wanted to roll it back with him because we're keeping an eye on the future draft, and we're like, oh, you know what, we could get a quarterback next year. Well, the Jets played a little bit better than they expected, and they didn't get a top pick like they were thinking. And we wound up having to trade 3 second-round picks just to get up to number 3 to get Sam Darnold. So if we trade down and we have 3 first-round picks next year, there's no guarantee that the Jets are going to be a bad team and benefit from all those picks. There's a really good shot that with better coaching, more talent on the team, Sam Darnold plays better, but maybe not to the let's keep him realm. And then now you're sitting at, 8-8, and you're picking, I don't know, what's 8-8? 12 to 16, somewhere in that range, and now you have to trade up with those first-round picks, and that's just kind of brutal. Right now, you're sitting at number 2. You have the option to take the quarterback, and there's going to be a lot to say with Zach Wilson. I know people have said, oh, he's a 3-car garage kind of guy. Are you telling me that Archie Manning doesn't have a 3-car garage? Peyton and Eli turned out fine. They're probably like the best family quarterbacks. Well, that's a silly metric. How many are there? But whatever. They turned out just fine. I don't think you have to worry about the 3-car garage type thing. Everything I've heard about this guy, aside from people trying to sort of damage his draft stock, has been pretty positive. I would have really liked to have seen him at the Combine where teams could really interview him. It sounds like there may not be private workouts, which means we're going to have to rely on his pro day, which as of right now is kind of escaping me. I think it's like March 26th, maybe, right at the end of the month, and then I think Fields is March 30th. So we're going to take a look at all these guys before we make a concrete decision. But Zach Wilson, I like the pick. I think it's probably what the selection is going to be if the Jets hold on to that number 2 pick. So I like that move. And at number 23, he has the Jets selecting an edge rusher, Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. Now, I said in the Kiper mock draft, I really like edge rusher at 23. That is hands down the position I would really like to go at that spot. Cornerback is a big need, of course. I have no problem going 34, using pick 34 on cornerback, but edge rusher with the 5th-year option is just so valuable. It really is. And Ronnie Perkins is an interesting character. I do really like this move. If you think Kwity Paye is kind of like the bull rush, not so much finesse type edge rusher, Perkins is more of that speed, kind of dip his shoulder and get around the tackle type guy. But both players really good against the run. So if the Jets wind up with either Ronnie Perkins or Kwity Paye, I'd be really happy at 23. I think that would be a really good move for the New York Jets, and I think it sets us up for having an edge rusher that we really haven't had in a really long time. Now, that said, I still would like the Jets to try and target an edge rusher in free agency in some capacity, whether that is, maybe an older veteran that could take Perkins under his wing, or maybe they decide to splurge for an edge rusher instead of maybe spending on a different position there. It's going to be interesting to see, but I do think we need more than just Perkins on our, for our edges. So overall, quarterback at 2, edge rusher at 23. This is an A+ for me. I don't necessarily want Perkins over Kwity Paye or whatever. I'm happy. I'm happy either way. A+ for me. I think the quarterback is important. I think edge rusher important. You hit both those premium positions right there. Let me know what you guys would grade this draft. Where does it fall on your list? And what do you think of the picks overall? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, go Jets.